Well, thank you very much for being here and for your attention. We're proud to tell you a little bit about our center. Thank you, Robin, for these great startup stories. And you must remember today, because in, let's say, 5 years from now, you can tell your families that you were watching the birth of a big Greek company called Vendora. So remember that today you saw the launch of Vendora.
Then I should get a bonus for that because I'm inviting him.
5 years from now, this guy will have a great company. Now, really, Marktplaats is an iconic company in the Netherlands. A lot of people trade on Marktplaats, and I think, well, I haven't done the testing, but most of the people in the Netherlands know this company and had an experience. We go to the university, so we turn from the startup world to the university, where we are, and we want to tell a little bit about our company. And this is my company. Our company is ACE, Amsterdam Center for Entrepreneurship. We're a startup incubator of the university. So what Orange Grove is doing here in Athens through the Dutch Embassy, we are doing through the University of Amsterdam. We run this as a company, so we are a limited, private company, but the university is my shareholder. So this gives us the freedom to run this in a really entrepreneurial way, but still be connected to the university. We're located at the science campus of the university, where we built a campus with sea containers. So we were looking for a cheap, flexible place and spot to build our offices. So we bought second-hand sea containers, show you a few pictures later, that we turned into offices where our startups can also run cheap and flexible. Immerse, a Dutch IT platform, called us the best incubator in the Netherlands a couple of weeks ago. But before I tell a little bit more about our company, I want to go back to what the ambassador said in the beginning of today when he talked about education. And he talked about also long-term perspectives for the Greek economy. We started in 2006, 2007 in the business school of the University of Amsterdam, the Center for Entrepreneurship, with the objective, the primary objective, to create and offer practical courses for students who would like to explore entrepreneurship, start a company, translate an idea they have in their head into a real project, and bring it to the market, bring it to customers, trying to realize that. Entrepreneurship teaching, which is now, 10 years later, quite a common thing in the Netherlands, maybe even in a lot of European countries, but at that time, there was a lot of resistance in the university doing that, because we're a university, we're doing research, we're an academy, we're not doing practical stuff over here. That was really what people told us when we started with these kind of courses. We got the opportunity to do that, and 10 years later, I must tell you that I meet very few students, and it might be a perspective for Greek university as well. That's why I come back to that story of us 10 years later. I meet very few students who started the company in our program that became successful. Actually, hardly any. But they learned so much by running these courses that when I meet them now, 10 years later, after graduation, especially the first batches, that they are in their third or second company and either being successful or working for larger corporations and having the kind of entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset that they learned while they were studying. So I would appeal to Greek universities to really look at introducing these kind of practical courses for students of all disciplines, because I really believe that it might not lead to the great startup from the beginning, but it certainly will lead to a more entrepreneurial mindset. We pivoted, we changed a couple of years into a university incubator, a startup incubator where we help especially master students and PhDs from Amsterdam, but basically from everywhere, to translate their technology, their technological invention into a company, a science and technologically based incubator. We do that through a vast network of corporates, investors, mentors, coaches, people with experience who help these young people to start a company in different industries, from sustainable chemistry to physics to even humanities, and of course computer science and the medical center. So a professor inventing a drug against Parkinson's disease, up to a master student with an algorithm to change the airline industry. and everything in between we try to help. We do that in batches of 10, so twice a year everyone within the academy can apply for the program, and we select usually from around 80 applicants, 70 to 80 applicants, 10 ideas that we believe in, very early stage. It's nothing yet, it's not a company, it's not a structure, there's not a team, it's only an idea or an invention, a scientific or technological invention. No experience in business whatsoever, and we try to build together with them in 3 months a team, a company, and like Robin said, especially a market that fits to the technology. Because a lot of people come in with the technology and say, this is such a great technology, the whole world is waiting for it. And then in a couple of weeks later, they discover that it's not the case. So they really have to find a product market fit.
All the ideas are coming from the university or not?
Yes, mostly they come from the university.
From the university.
Yeah,
or
sometimes
can someone apply from another country, for example?
Oh yes,
or?
I mean everything is in English, and people apply from nowadays basically all over the world. Our main focus, our main marketing goes to the university, of course, because it's my main shareholder. But we allow companies from all over the world, startup ideas from all over the world.
And you said that you work that as a company, meaning that you're aiming for profits, or you're just aiming to be even balanced?
No, our university is in the Netherlands, and I have to watch the time because after 5 minutes okay. I have to give the floor to Darya. Universities in the Netherlands, and it's probably not different from Greece. It's maybe a good story to tell. They have 3 objectives. They're basically government paid. I think still 90% of the university income is taxpayers' money, is government money. And the university has 3 tasks. 1 is teaching, so learning students, preparing students for the future. 2 is research. And the 3rd one, which was for a long time forgotten, is innovation. It's even in the law that the 3rd task of the university is innovation. And one of the ways to innovate teaching and research, bring it to the society, is through startup companies. And it became more and more popular over the last years, and we're in that domain. So that's our main focus, but we're open to any companies from anywhere to come in. We have also a global program where our startups can go to another a university incubator for 1, 2, or 3 weeks to learn about the ecosystem there or expand the market, and vice versa. So also startup companies that do not want to go into our program but would like to explore the Dutch market or learn from the Dutch ecosystem, they are welcome to apply for this program and have a landing pad in our incubator. These are a few pictures of what we call Startup Village, our container village, where we turned second-hand sea containers into 25 offices for startup companies, and we rent out to our portfolio. We're going to make it even bigger, as you can see on this picture, in the coming few months. And I'd like to give the floor to Darya to tell a little bit more about the content of our program and the type of startups that come out of the university as an inspiration. Darya?
Thank you. So I think it's a good illustration of what you can achieve in just 5 years with very, very modest budget, right? And we are just 3 years old as a standalone organization. So this is our economic impact that we've created for the ecosystem in Amsterdam. So far, we supported over 100 startups, so these numbers are not including this year. So over 100 startups. Almost everybody survives during the first year. As you guys can see, 86%. And our average survival rate after 5 years is 71, which is much, much higher than the rest of the industry. And we attest to that our startups founders are being academics. And if they decide to dedicate their time to something else outside their lab or research, then it's really, really worth it. So essentially, we are looking for jockeys and not the technologists, because these guys can put their effort and initiative into anything and turn it into next market plot sometimes. It also generates new jobs for startups, and someone mentioned that there has been a growth in the ambassador, right, in startup jobs, and the startups raised by themselves almost 20 million euros in pre-seed funding. So we find this extremely impressive. If you look at after just 5 years, half of our portfolio is already almost half of our portfolio is already profit or revenue generated stage, and we had just one exit last year, 4.5 years old company, AI, of course, that has been founded by a professor out of Amsterdam science faculty, computer science faculty. Max Welling, he's one of the world leading experts. And I'll showcase a little bit the composition of the startups in the end, but this is just 5 years again, pretty nice result. Couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, we did the outreach to our portfolio to see what's our main value add. And essentially, we are a platform to create a mind shift for technical and scientific founders, that they will have some idea what the world of entrepreneurship and industry will look like. So we are a mind shift platform with our services, with our education programs, and the experts that are around the incubator. We are not alone in this journey. We have our very valuable and extremely dedicated partners. We have two types of partners, corporate partners and program partners. And we work very, very closely with university.
Was it easy to find the cooperations with the companies? Was it easy, or it was difficult to,
So corporations, in a way, found us.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
they came to you.
So if you take, for example, EY, they have a long-term tradition of supporting entrepreneurship and getting in touch with startup since day zero, in a way. So they found us, so they were looking for best incubator, which we are this year, by the way, in Amsterdam, so in the ecosystem. So it was pretty natural connection for us.
Okay.
And the most interesting, really fast, is just to showcase what kind of startups we have in our pipeline and what kind of people we are working with. I will tell a story about METRICA Sports. It has been founded by two neuroscientists that were very good at what they did. They were doing PhD in the Brain Institute in the Netherlands, and they were super passionate about soccer. So we're thinking how to combine those two, and they just came with this passion to the incubator. So essentially, we train them, we provide the platform to reiterate and apply Lean Startup methodology. And right now, they have, after 4.5 years, they have a startup that works with major teams in the world, such as Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Madrid, Real Madrid. So it has a lot of work this week. Couple of weeks for the champion. So Ruben is doing very well. And it was just 2 students, PhD students. That's the impact. Another interesting story that came of all unexpected places, the most unexpected place, is actually a master student thesis. So AI master students were working for their thesis with KLM Airlines. And the company liked their project so much, so they advised them to build a company around it. So it's just very young boys and girls that came to us with their thesis, essentially. And right now they have a running product in AI which inspects the engine running already with KLM, and they're in talks with other airlines in the world. Any airline executives here in the room? Okay, fortunately not. Okay. And lastly, just a little bit of hardware as well, and the impact that our companies create. So it's world-only molecular imaging instrumentation, and it started with one PhD student and professor that were very passionate about their research. And 5 years later, they support biggest research institutions in the world in life sciences, such as Harvard Medical School, Rockefeller University. So this is whom we work with, and we are very excited, and it gives us a lot of energy.
Usually, what are the problems that you see that these startups that came to you have? What are the problems the first, couple of weeks? What do you see their weaknesses?
I think the transition period from academic mindset to industry and business savviness is pretty painful, and technology experts and field experts tend to fall into focusing on the product. instead
of the customer.
getting out of the building. So I think getting out of the building is the biggest mind shift and the problem
Getting
for
out
people.
of the building, okay.
They always are very modest as well. So they're, oh, we are not ready. You know, we're still working on the
They are
product.
modest, or they think that they're going to have to make the next Facebook or something? Usually it's the other way around.
No, they're modest about their capabilities and where they are.
Okay.
So not always they feel comfortable with presenting, you know, a prototype. And what if they say tomorrow I want the product? I was like, well, then you will work on it. You know, you'll get people, you'll get help. So this is the biggest problem for us.
Okay. That's it?
Yes.
Oh, you're finished. Oh, thanks very much.
Thank you very
That
much.
was very interesting.